The Greatest Love Story, Part 2. Daksha was no ordinary king. As the mind-born son of Lord Brahma, he had been created to uphold cosmic order. His role was to enforce the code of conduct for all of humanity, and thus he earned the title of Prajapati, the Lord of the people. Shiva, on the other hand, was a rebel, a nonconformist who cared little for the rules Daksha had set. Shiva was the ultimate free spirit, renouncing worldly pleasures, frequenting cremation grounds, keeping company with the most grotesque of beings, and dancing to the rhythm of his own drum. While Daksha thrived on order and discipline, Shiva embodied chaos and freedom. This stark contrast fueled Daksha's disdain for the great lord, but his hatred deepened further during a grand yajna where both Daksha and Shiva were invited. While all the devas and sages bowed respectfully to Daksha, Shiva remained seated. Daksha took this as a grave insult, vowing to teach Shiva a lesson. Now, as Daksha gazed upon the portrait of Shiva that his daughter had so lovingly painted, his rage erupted once again. "That is your soulmate," he roared. "An outcast who lives on the fringes of society. You choose him as your life partner. Impossible. I will never allow this marriage." Sati stood in stunned silence, unable to comprehend the fury she had unleashed. She tried to reason with her father, to explain the true nature of Lord Shiva. But Daksha's mind was made up, and he refused to listen any further. Unable to bear the insults hurled at her lord, Sati renounced the palace and the kingdom. Besieged by grief, Sati made her way to Mount Kailash, where she found her lord still in deep meditation. How she longed to wake him, to fall into his arms and forget the world. How much she wanted to tell him that she had upheld his honor, but doubt crept into her heart. What if he wakes and doesn't recognize me? I have lost my divinity in this mortal form, she resolved. No, I must become worthy of his attention. When he opens his eyes, he must see me as my true self. With this singular purpose, Sati committed herself to severe austerities and penances. So rigorous were her efforts that she gradually gave up food, at one point subsisting on nothing but a single bilva leaf each day. Then one day, after emerging from deep meditation, Sati opened her eyes to find Lord Shiva sitting before her, gazing at her with boundless adoration. At first, she thought it was another vivid dream. But no, it was really him, in flesh and blood. Her lord had finally awakened. The moment was beyond words. It was surreal, magical. Thousands of years of longing and separation had led to this singular, perfect reunion. No words were spoken, for words could not capture what they felt for each other. With burning passion, Sati embraced him, her heart whole once more. In that moment, she had everything. But deep inside, a flicker of hope remained. She wished for just one more thing, that her beloved father would accept their union. Daksh remained furious with his daughter, angry that she had chosen a filthy ascetic over him. But his anger towards Shiva burned even hotter for the sway this yogi held over his naive daughter. His pride had been bruised beyond repair. He stood at the edge, consumed with thoughts of revenge. Right then the sky turned white with a majestic light, and before him appeared his progenitor, Lord Brahma, the creator himself. Brahma spoke sternly to his wayward son, warning him not to drive a wedge between the divine couple. For Shiva and Shakti were two parts of the same whole, the very essence of creation itself. Their union would benefit all life. But if torn apart, chaos would reign. Daksha was powerless before his mighty father's will, and with humility he conceded and agreed. A message was sent to Sati that love had triumphed over anger, and her father had agreed to her marriage with Shiva. An opulent celebration was organized for her wedding. And oh my, was it a sight to behold! All the Devis and Devtas, Apsaras and Gandharvas were invited. Sadhus and Rishis gathered in reverence, while Lord Brahma himself presided over the wedding rituals. With 7 parikramas and 7 vows around the sacred fire, the divine marriage was sanctified. To this day, that blessed new moon night in February is celebrated as Mahashivratri, the great wedding night of Shiva and Shakti. After the wedding, Shiva gathered his beautiful bride in his arms and took her to his Himalayan abode. As Lord Brahma watched them depart, a deep sense of satisfaction filled him. His plan had worked. He had brought goddess Shakti to earth, awakened Shiva from his endless meditation, and through their union ensured the sustenance of creation. But did he know that destiny had something else in store? Alas, was he aware of the dark clouds looming ahead? For in the distance, Daksha stood, his fists clenched, watching as the ascetic he despised so much carried away his daughter. It was unclear if it was the shadow that darkened his face or it was the color of his hatred.